Now, here's your hosts, the League Dad, Kevin, Mitchell, and Alistair.
What's up, gamers, and welcome to another episode of the All-In Podcast. So glad you could join us wherever you are. If you're exercising, in the car, maybe you're taking a poop. However it is that you are choosing to join us, we are glad that you are here. And as always, we've got the co-hosts here, Alistair, Kevin, Mitchell, and we're just having a good time after this crazy week of LCS.
Yeah, it's been crazy is definitely a good word for it. I'm honestly kind of confused. I don't really know what happened this weekend.
Yeah.
We saw some wild comebacks, and it just has me a little flabbergasted.
But isn't that the LCS for you, though? Like, that's NA, man. That's why I love our region.
Yeah, complete monkey business, honestly.
Yeah, we had some really wild games. I got to see my favorite team do really well into one of the worst losses in the season, but it's honestly just part of the NA ride. I'm all here for it. I'm just all ready for it. I've got a little surprise for the people who are watching the YouTube video later on.
Yeah. Oh, surprise! I like surprises, Kevin. So I'm excited for this. Hopefully it's exciting because I needed some excitement today. Because I'm just on a high.
It's Mimi.
Well, that's fine because honestly, there are some things that were Mimi. I know Alistair would probably say. Sven's Caitlyn, maybe Mimi. Give me your thoughts real quick on that, Alistair, because I know during the weekend he was just flaming away. So give us your thoughts on Sven's Caitlyn, man.
He can't play Caitlyn. I honestly think he might be the worst Caitlyn D1 plus. He's a good 80 carry player. On Caitlyn, just his spacing is bad. There's a fight that lost them the game where he missed 3 traps in a row and he didn't even put a trap on the teleport. He's building rapid fire cannon second, which is beyond me. He doesn't know what he's doing on the champion. It feels like it's hard to watch.
Now, is his Caitlyn better or worse than Doublelift's Caitlyn?
It's not even close.
Yeah.
So Sven is worse.
Doublelift's is a lot better.
Oh my gosh! Because I remember
Yeah.
when Doublelift was playing Caitlyn, we were giving him some stuff there. So that's crazy frame of reference for the Caitlyn.
Something to bring up about Doublelift actually is on his co-stream when they were watching that game.
Yeah.
Doublelift and Meteos were talking about how they actually liked the rapid fire second from Sven, and they thought that was really smart. So because it was just they had 4 damage sources on the side of C9, and all Sven had to do was poke and not really DPS and just stay safe. So that's why Doublelift liked it. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I thought it was kind of troll, but that's what Doublelift and Meteos agreed upon on their co-stream.
Well,
so.
I mean, what do they know? I mean, they're just experts. What do they know? Nah, definitely. We have to take a look. I think at the Caitlyn pick more in depth as we get to those games because it's pretty interesting because that's not a champ that we see often, and it's interesting that they picked that. C9 picked that against TL and TSM. So we'll definitely dive into that a little bit because I want to get your thoughts for sure. But before we do that, just a quick reminder, guys, if you're listening to this podcast and aren't part of our Discord, you definitely have to join because one of the things we really want to do here is build this show around you guys, the community. This is the fan pulse of the LCS. So join our Discord. You can actually just go to theallinpodcast.info and that'll actually take you to an invite link for our Discord. Join in there. We have a lot of watch parties. We have events, prizes. You can win RP. I mean, who doesn't want to win free stuff? So definitely check that out. But our first thing we have to do is see what's going around the web. Mitchell, you look like you have something to say, my friend.
I'm just excited about the prizes. We're going to give out our first prize today.
That's
and
right.
That is hype. Around the web. Yeah, it's on the outline somewhere. Go ahead, League Dad, about it.
Yeah, I mean, so this is what I came across like this past week. Obviously, the big thing to talk about is Ryoma getting subbed in for Damonte, right?
Yes.
Because 100 Thieves, we had been talking about 100 Thieves being on this downward trend, and all of a sudden we see Ryoma come in, and we did see 100 Thieves try to play more of these control mages, and everyone knows Damonte cannot play control mages. And so for that, probably that reason is why Ryoma was subbed in, but it drew a lot of mixed reactions, strong reactions from the community, so we definitely have to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, Ryoma, maybe he can play control mages better. I remember last year he was better on stuff like Azir and Orianna, but like, he's still not a great player overall in the grand scheme of things, right? And also, like, 100 Thieves has a lot of problems that's not focused around just Damonte not being able to play control mages. They're messing up dives under turrets. They're missing, like, skill shots on stun targets. They have bad teamfight coordination. Like, this isn't just going to be fixed by subbing in one player. So, I think, like, they're hoping that Roma just fixes their problems when really they're just masking what it actually is, and they're just shifting their problems elsewhere. Now they have a whole new set of problems because you have a whole different player who's not exactly super good. So I think they're floundering, and I'm pretty sure I predicted it last week that 100 Thieves was not going to do too great this weekend.
Yeah, sure.
I agree. I mean, I don't think Rioma's that bad, but it did to me it looked like a lack of practice with the team, and maybe even just a lack of honestly playing the game. I mean, I can't remember which game it was, but he was playing Azir, and there were two deaths that were just there was zero reason to die there. I think it was the TSM game,
Hmm.
and he walks in like he's gonna do a shuffle or make some play, and then he just doesn't do anything and dies. It's it was
Yikes.
it was like a solo queue play. There's no way you get the dragon, but you sit there and you're gonna try and steal, it, and then you just don't do anything and die anyways instead of
Hmm.
pushing mid. That's exactly what it looked like to me.
I know
Yeah,
those.
he has some pretty solid laning phases for the most part. Probably more stable than Damonte in that sense.
I
A
agree.
little bit better prio and jungle coordination in terms of just playing around objectives, but there was at least 2 game losing situations where he was just poking and not respecting anything at all, and it felt like he either could have gone all in and went for the Zirsek or whatever the Shurima shuffle, or he could have backed off with his team. He did neither, and he kept on getting skill checked and losing 100 Thieves and pretty pivotal Soul Dragons and Baron fights. Like it's not acceptable. And at that point, why are you playing him over Damonte if that's what he's going to consistently bring?
Right.
Obviously, with practice, he could be better, but it wasn't impressive.
I will say from a different like angle, if because the season's almost over, they're not locked for playoffs, but like if they're just looking to make a top four in any of those spots, this could be one of those subbing out Damonte to be like, yo, you gotta learn control mages before playoffs. We're
Oh,
kicking you.
yeah.
This is a motivation thing. Clock is on. You're gonna watch your team suffer if you don't learn these control mages, and we're gonna start Ryoma. I could see that angle from 100 Thieves coaching. It just kind of sucks because it did feel like some of these games were winnable if Damonte was in there potentially,
Right.
or if they're focusing on fixing other problems. But it's something to think about, right? Maybe they're just hoping Damonte will come back, and this is just a little kick in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, so Double Lift, I think this was on a co-stream too. He was saying, the hard part about, the Ryoma thing is that, yeah, okay, you're bringing him to solve this one possible thing, the control mage thing. But he says what a lot of people don't see is that when you play with somebody for a while, you know their play style, you know their weaknesses, most of all. And so you can kind of play around that or address those things. But with them not having a lot of time with Ryoma, they don't really know that yet. No matter what, it takes time to gel, and we don't know behind the scenes, so we don't know how long they've been scrimming together or practicing together, but that's just another factor that they'll have to overcome, besides the fact that, yeah, Ryoma can play control mages, but does the benefit outweigh the cost? Like if Damonte can play pretty much just as well, then he should just stay in for the synergy's sake. You know what I'm saying? Like they've already been playing with each other, so they can kind of play around that. And you guys mentioned it. Like I don't know if this past weekend, if we can definitively say that. Well, I don't think we could say for sure he was an upgrade because it wasn't like he did anything amazing. He played okay. I don't think we can blame it all on him though. I went through some of his stats, and his laning stats were pretty terrible. Ryoma's never been a great laner, anyways. So he was last in gold at 10 minutes, and he was also last in XP at 10 minutes. But his team fight stats were okay. He was 4th in kill participation and 2nd in damage percentage. So I mean, I think that's what they were hoping for. Their team fight hasn't been the greatest. And honestly, I think that's probably the root cause of their problem. They don't know what to do around mid-late game, around team fights, around objectives. And honestly, I think that's what their problem is, because before they could just snowball a lane and use their prio to get those objectives. Now I don't think that's the case.
I think one of their problems is like I agree with you, and it's so closely tied into their draft. They keep picking like these stuff like Renekton
Mm-hmm.
Olaf. That's like you have to snowball early. You're very short range, run at him, and it's super predictable. I think teams are playing around it super well, and it's like they keep doing the same drafts with like, all right, we got a new mid laner who has a slightly different champ pool, but we're gonna still run Olaf Renekton over and over. And I I don't know. I feel like their coaching staff is really lost on what to do right now in this meta.
I agree, but at the same time, I think what their mentality could be right now is that was working for them really well at the beginning of the split, right? Lock in tournament, they were running that every game, Taliyah Renekton or like these early game comps, and it would work. But now, as you said, teams are starting to figure them out, and once they tried changing, it didn't really work. So now they're going back to what they're comfortable on.
Still not
That's kind of the way I'm
working.
Yeah,
looking
still
at it.
not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think too. Like, if you're gonna pick those strong snowbally champs, like, what worked before is that they did have the roaming mid laner, right? So they could make
Yeah, they
these.
TF Galio.
Yeah, TF
Yeah.
Galio, four-man dives, top or bottom or whatever, and that's how they would get ahead, get prio in that area. But it's not; they can't do that anymore. And so now, how do they actually win these contested fights around Dragon, around Rift and Baron? So it seems like that's an issue for them. So I don't
My
know.
biggest complaint to also, I think we haven't really hit on this a lot, but I don't even know if it's Ryoma or Damonte's fault individual. I honestly think Closer is just out of his element. I think he's been playing like you just forget what he's been doing in these games because
Oh,
he's just pretty much non-existent in their losses.
Yeah.
He once his Olaf got weaker, Olaf got taken out, Talia got taken out, and Udyr is still good, but not as good. He's very clearly not a good Skarner player, at least in the game that he lost. It
Or
just was not
Lilia.
impressive at all.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about that game. He just doesn't know
Clapper.
spacing.
Yeah.
He's clearly the kind of player who wants to just run at you and overwhelm you with a jungle bruiser kind of character. Although he wasn't really good on Nidalee before, but Nidalee can still dive in. Lilia is not that kind of character. If you dive in haphazardly, you're going to get blown up
you
like he
did.
did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just looked like a liability, and he just disappeared, which means Ryoma can't lane. So I honestly think that they're trying to figure out how to switch around pieces to cover him, but the control mage isn't doing it for him either, even though there might be at least some prio there.
Yeah. Mark Z even put him really low in the jungler tier list that they did, and everybody was like, what? But yeah, I think if you look objectively in it, and he did some deep dive into it, so I think he has definitely valid points, and I think he's right at this point. So I don't see how you can disagree with Closer not being towards the bottom of the pack as far as junglers go, because he hasn't really made an impact. He's there when he needs to be sometimes, but he's not actually getting leads on his own for his team. And so that's kind of what we've been hoping for with Closer. And again, I don't think it falls on one person. I think just as a team, they're all not doing. They're not getting advantages anywhere, honestly, and so that's a big problem. And I see it on the
Yep.
downside. Yeah. So
Back to the thing that I've been saying week after week. Someday, where's he at, man? This is
yeah,
supposed to be his time to shine. Someday finally has a team, and he's still kind of getting ahead in lanes some games, but he's not taking over. He's not
well, yeah.
dominating.
Let me ask you that, because I see it all over that people are still ranking Someday even as high as second top laner in the league. What are your thoughts on that, Mitchell?
Yeah, I don't think he's that high. I do think he is still good mechanically and still
Mhm.
good laning, but like his laning disparity is not as high as it used to be. Like he could come away with lane with massive advantages sometimes and still lose the game because he had a really bad team. And honestly, his problem in previous teams where he wasn't able to carry his lead around. Now that lead is actually smaller than usual,
Oh,
and he's not able to carry his team around. So I
big
do
thing.
rank him lower. And there's a lot of like times and moments where it's like more of an eye test thing where like I just kind of think about what he's doing, where he's TPing, like how he's interacting and posturing and stuff, and like it doesn't seem like he knows what to do. He's very hesitant, very indecisive. He kind of just gets caught and dies in fights, honestly. He just like runs in on a Gnar or an Ecton, gets CC'd, gets a couple of abilities off and dies. Does nothing. And maybe it's a champ pool, maybe it's the team decision for him to suicide. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like he's honestly worse than Huni right now. And Huni
Hooney's
is
playing well though.
he's
So
playing
Yes.
yeah,
well,
He
but
is.
that's not what you want
yeah,
from
definitely.
someday. Someday you want top 1, top 2, top laner, and maybe top 5 for him. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I agree with the fact that I don't think Someday's up there. I mean, when you talk about impactful top laners, impact. You talk like Alfari, you could see the top gaps there, and even Huni in certain games. You could see the top gap there. Someday is not getting those types of gaps, and I think you hit it right on the head. Which, if he does, it's not that big of a lead, and he doesn't really carry that lead into anything else because his laning stats are good, yes, but you look at his damage percentage and his kill participation, they're not as high as some of these other top laners. So it's not actually translating into him being able to do anything on the team. Again, no flame on him or anyone in particular. I just think that there is a lot of issues that the whole team have to solve. So one final question before we move on. If you're the coach or you're the coach here of 100 Thieves, do you leave Ryoma in to try for another week, or we putting Damonte back in?
I think it really depends on the standings. I'd have to take a peek to do some math, but like if they can clinch top 4 with a couple more losses, then maybe you keep Ryoma in if scrims are going well. If you can't, and you might make the bottom 6, like the bottom 2 of the top 6, hell no. Put Damonte back in, get that top 4. Like, that buy is so big and important. So, yeah.
They have so this week they play TL, IMT, FlyQuest. I think you keep Ryoma.
Okay.
Personally, I don't know if you can switch them between games, like in the middle of the weekend. I don't know exactly. You can?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, then I would say probably go Ryoma, game 1, game 2, and then Damonte against Liquid. Because I feel like 100 Thieves, they should be able to beat FlyQuest, they can beat IMT, and I still think they can beat Liquid, because especially how weak Jensen looked this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the play, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that to an extent. I also think it's a little worrying to just like throw in Damonte for just a Team Liquid game. Save us, Damonte.
I mean, I don't think there's a good answer. If you want
there's
to be
not.
honest.
I agree. Yeah.
I'd say my answer is literally just pick who you actually plan on fielding in playoffs. If you're just using Ryoma to see did he work better this week and it just didn't work the way you thought it would, field only Ryoma or field only Damonte and don't dilly-dally. Because like I don't want to see a T1 situation where Faker gets brought in for game 3 against the hard team and then he doesn't do well and gets flamed. Like who would have thought if you only play 1 game out of 3 a week and you watch your team play the other 2, it's hard to synergize.
Yeah.
I think it was a good idea to do it this week before the final week, and now the final week you just got to make a decision.
Yeah, so you heard it here, guys. Don't dilly-dally, okay, according to Kevin. All right, don't dilly-dally. That is the key. Totally agree. All right, let's move on to our Discord take of the week, okay? So what is this? I know this is something new that we've been introducing, but I want to remind you guys what we're going to do this coming up week. So if you're listening to this right now, whether it's Tuesday, Wednesday, you have time to do this, but we're going to be sending out a form in the Discord where you can submit your hot take around the LCS for our next show. And if we pick yours, if it seems to be the most interesting one to talk about, then you will win a $10 RP card. Yes, that's correct.
Oh my god.
If that doesn't get you to submit something, I don't know what.
For free?
That's all I'm gonna do is submit a take. So if
No
you're in
way.
Discord, be on the lookout for a Google form that Alistair will send out, and you'll submit your Discord name and your take, and if we pick your take on the next episode, you'll win a $10 RP card. Okay, so you're doing that, you're thinking about that. Now let's talk about this week's. So unfortunately, this week we didn't have the form submission, but we are going to take a look at some takes just around our community. So Kevin, you found the hot take, so why don't you lead us into that, man?
Yeah, so this is from Twitter. Got a DM, and you're always welcome to DM us with your takes. We'll at least respond and try to, see if we can put it on the show. But this is from That's Four Rings on Twitter. He said, the ADC pool in NA is insanely deep, and it has been for a while, but teams are just too afraid to play through the bot side.
Interesting. I mean, we have been seeing the ADCs pop off. Can you say pentas and quadras and triple kills? So what do you guys think about that? I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We do have a resident ADC main here, so I'll keep mine short and sweet. I'm just gonna say top lane is really OP right now, so maybe now exactly isn't the best time. But allowing ADCs to scale, I mean, they got some really good items, especially at 3. Like IE at 3 item spike is really strong. So, eh.
Yeah.
So I do agree. I think AD carry probably almost always has been, and still like is consistently NA's best role. And I honestly think a lot of NA bot lanes can compete internationally. But I think the problem is our top laners are so bad that if we play around bot side, top lane, or the top side just implodes. It feels like, and I think that's the biggest worry. And I I can speak from experience being on a team that was like this, where we could play bot side, but we had to worry about top side. And it takes one gank top. If you're always bot side, then you just kind of lose the game to Camille.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's
very specific.
well, it's pretty easy example. So
Yeah.
I would add on that I think Core JJ literally said it himself as a former world champion and world finalist. He said that NA bot lanes can definitely compete with the best ones in the world. It's very clear that he values them highly, and like, there's no reason for him to lie about it. Like, he came to NA, he actually raised the level of our players. I think he usually says what he believes, unless he's Mimi. So like, I mean, we have him, who's probably one of our best supports, and then we have Vulcan, who's also probably in the top 10 or 15. Like, if we have world-class bot lanes, and not just in the support, but our AD carry roles. You can think back to Wild Turtle when he went to Worlds on TSM. Like, he popped off. We might have got smacked, but he actually popped off on Corki. Like, we consistently
I
have
remember.
AD carries who can do well at Worlds. It's just that we can't get a team that will get them to the point to enable them. I mean, ADCs were pretty much dominant. Like, they were the headlines for the rest of this week that I want to get into later on.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think, you know, if we keep seeing like champs like Tristana, Kai'Sa, Callista, these champs that are just popping off and have these resets, maybe even Jinx, I know like she hasn't found a lot of success, but according to Alistair, which I believe him, she's strong at the moment. You know, if they can find a way to make her work,
so good.
and you have all these reset type ADCs who can pop off, then maybe that is something that teams should be focusing on as far as where they should play.
Well, yeah, I think so, but unfortunately, like I'm gonna go back to Alistair's point that our top lane are so weak. It's like you have to balance between, do you want to have a really solid bot lane and play around them, or do you want to have a really solid bot lane so you don't have to play around them, right? Like you just let them exist and survive. So it's the age-old question, right? Do you let your best player carry you or survive?
That's true. Yeah, definitely a good point. But thanks for that take. I think that's really good. 4 rings. And so we got one more. This is from Crits, our very own Crits in Discord.
Dark side.
He said that TSM plays according to their opponent's level. I'll say that again. TSM plays according to their opponent's level, beating TLC9 but losing to FlyQuest. And Dig, although Dig is actually good, but again, we see the level of play kind of like, why do they throw these leads? We saw that this week to Dig, right? They lost to FlyQuest last week. Like, what the heck? And then they beat teams like TL and C9. And so I think it's an interesting take. I mean, TSM hasn't lost that many games. But yeah, I think that's something to watch, because I feel like they do maybe it's preparation with their scrims, and they know they're coming up against big teams, so that maybe they prep for it more. But what do you guys think? Is that a true statement?
I don't know what to say about TSM. I'll just be straight up. I don't know what to think.
We
about
never
them.
know what to say about TSM. I know, it's so weird.
Yeah, I actually think that's just the answer. Like trying to make a
guess.
take about TSM is just like gonna get you in trouble, man. Because here, I'll say this as the resident Dignitas fan, like. TSM is playing according to their opponent's level. No, clearly not. Dignitas is above their level. So, not exactly a true take.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, see? Dignitas, let's go. I mean, I don't know. TSM is just monkey, man. They're not consistent. They will sometimes just be really, really good or be really, really bad. And maybe the past couple weeks is against the good teams and bad against the bad teams. But it could switch any day, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
See, how can your opponents know how well you're going to do if you don't know how well you're going to do?
Exactly.
That's the
Big brain.
right there.
Basically, what's happening right now with TSM is they're finally buying into the LPL playstyle. Like, unironically, you saw them down like in that C9 TSM game, down like 50 CS in jungle, and then the support sort of just like, okay, I guess I'll just engage and we'll just start a fight and we're gonna just win it. And
YOLO.
the other team's like, wait, you can't do that. We're winning. It's like, are you? Are you really? Like, you even saw it at level 1 when they hooked it into 3v4. I'm just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And it didn't work, but they just kept doing it until the other team got beaten into submission.
Dude, what was
At
that,
the same
man?
time, it also means you can lose to teams that just like you don't coin flip correctly on. Like, it's literally what we see from LPL every year too. They go to Worlds, they lose to like a wild card, or they lose to like NA once randomly, but they also beat the best teams twice. So it's like, it makes no sense, but it looks like TSM is buying into that mindset, which means that they're going to be a lot more proactive around objectives, a lot more proactive around team fights, but they also can monkey. Is why we can't predict them. They're not fully LPL, but they're definitely, you can see signs of it. Because no NA team wins that C9 TSM game from that deficit. They usually would just tilt off the face of the earth normally.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. Like, as a TSM fan, I simultaneously in one weekend can be crying tears of sadness and then weeping for joy in the same weekend, sometimes the same game like this one, because we need to talk about this TSM comeback a little bit more. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it yet, go watch that game, TSM versus C9. I mean, I as a jungler myself, I was like tilting. I was tilting for Spica on Hecarim, being down 0-3, getting your buff stolen, and then just getting double crabbed. There was just nothing he could do. It looked grim from the beginning. I was like typing up in our Discord because there was a watch party going on. I was like, I hate this team. They suck so bad. And I was just like, I hate it. And then all of a sudden,
they won.
Yeah, wait a minute. They won. I started like, it's kind of like the games in solo queue where you're like, report this guy, like he's sucking, and then all of a sudden you start winning the game. You're like, never mind, it's good. It's
GG
cool.
easy.
GG easy. I knew it all along. So yeah, guys. I mean, I know we have a lot of pent up things to say because one, I'm already excited for TSM, but I know there's a lot of C9 stuff that was just making you guys tilt because they were just making so many mistakes. So let me hear it. What did you guys think of that game? Other than the fact that TSM is awesome. I mean.
I'll leave the Caitlyn stuff to Alistair because
Okay.
I was freaking tilted as well. We were in the watch party. Come join us. We talk all about it. But this weekend, like, C9 had such a massive advantage, right? Blabber was up level 6 to level 3, 50 CS as the Lilia in the jungle. He just didn't do anything, man. He was the opposite of proactive. He was like, I'm just gonna keep farming. I think that's cool. I'm just gonna keep farming. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna keep missing my E's and not get any objectives. And like, Hecarim is just like farming and like he's just perma ganking, right? He's just running around, inting into the enemy team, hoping it works, going for these crazy flanks, and they're just perma fighting and it works out. And like, when the game did start to get even, you saw Blabber go for the most ridiculous flash Lilia Q Zhonya's sleep plays that I've ever seen. That like, this never works in a million years. You just wasted your flash, you Zhonya's, and you're dead, and your whole team's dead. You just threw the game by yourself. This was, you know what? I'm just gonna let Kevin take it, or Alistair just talk about Blabber and Sven, man. I don't know.
It was unacceptable.
Boy, thank you for
both.
Thank you for giving me that layup. This is my favorite time of the year. Every year, second half of the split, I can flame Blabber because he was absolute garbage this week.
There it is.
Not even close. No person, like, you could put me up there with a 50 CS lead. I'm like, okay, I'm about to smack this guy. Like, what are you supposed to do down 3 levels down? I'm pretty sure that Spica got access to like 3 or 4 camps in the first 4 minutes. And Blabber had 4 kill participation by like 8 minutes. And you know what? He ended the game with 5. Okay? How is that even physically possible? This guy is actually boosted on characters that he's not good at. He doesn't play with any brain cells sometimes. And sometimes he's the best jungler in NA. I still agree that his first performance on his good characters, insane. Absolutely surreal. But he has proven time and time again, just like same time 4 months ago when we were talking about summer splits, Blabber, he can't play on his off-meta champions. Like, he's just actually terrible. He threw the biggest lead I've ever seen. Meanwhile, Spica's at like 16 CS ganking tower, giving a 15 CS lead to Hootie because all his mates died to turret for a TP-less Gnar. And like, he didn't care if he died. He's like, I'm 0-3, but I have more kill participation than the super fed 50 CS Blabber. So I was gonna be more technical about this, but I just absolutely despise how little IQ was used in Blabber's play. And this game, as well as the TL game, really showed how it pretty much exposed him. Once again, when Olaf gets nerfed, when other very easy run at them characters get nerfed, he falls off. If he can't abuse Rek'Sai or Olaf and stuff like that, it's hard for him to be number one. He's probably still top 4, honestly, like overreactions aside, top 3, top 4, but Spica gapped him really.
No, overreactions are good.
Jungle
yeah.
Jungle
Clickbait.
Div.
If Spica didn't lose to Dardoch earlier this week, I'd have been like, dude, this guy's number 1 jungle performance this week. But
I don't know. These NA junglers, man. I'm so confused.
So is
One thing I
Blabber.
do wanna
He's like,
mention
I
about
was winning. I had all the camps.
The one thing I do want to mention about the junglers though is why can none of them smite? They're taking
Smite's
dragon
hard,
by
man.
themselves and they still miss the smite.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Alistair, I'll tell you a secret. It's because every other role is broken. Literally every other role is just better at smiting than Smite. Smite needs to scale better.
No,
Like, the
I
power
get that.
creep
I'm just
this
saying, like,
season
for
is just so much
example, they're
higher.
taking dragon by themselves and they still miss the smite. It still survives on 40 HP.
But Alistair, it doesn't matter if they're taking the dragon by themselves. They have so many brain cells to use
Can't
elsewhere.
smite it while they're by themselves. How are you supposed to smite it when you're under pressure?
Just
save
making
your
it
smite
fun,
tokens.
dude. It's like
Make it
Russian
fun.
roulette, you know? Will I get the smite? Will
It's
I
called
not?
practice.
Practice tool. Come on,
I think
guys.
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like a
think it's
casino,
fun.
you know?
It's
Who will get
super
the smite steal today? Are we 50-50ing? Yes, we are. Who
Yeah,
will get
until
it
your
today?
dragon gets stolen by that Jinx rocket I missed earlier today.
Oh,
Like,
God.
Yeah. Just flies in.
Hey, Jinx Rocket is OP on objectives, and
Yeah,
you know
no, I
that.
know.
It's not
Jinx
fair. It
Rocket's
does like
so good.
1,500.
All right, give it to me, Alistair. Tell me, Caitlyn.
Give it to
God,
us.
I don't want to. Man, it's hard. He's
Gale Force. Gale Force Gaming.
He is literally shaking his head right now.
I
in
don't have
disgust.
any issue with the Gale Force. Actually, that's not true. There were times he was against 2 tanks. He's building Gale Force like an idiot. That I have an issue with. I mean, just if you read the the chat spoilers for LCS, you can see one person malding over Gale Force buys. You know who you are.
Yes.
But the fact that he can do the right thing on Caitlyn, which is get the lead, because that's what
Yeah.
that's one thing you pick Caitlyn for. You pick her for laning phase because you can demolish early game. You can set up dives super easily with traps. But if you don't do that, you're in trouble because Caitlyn's mid game is really bad again. Unlike last split or last season. And he's just throwing it away.
Yeah.
He's just doing nothing. He'll win lane and then he'll just sit mid lane and trade waves back and forth. And then he'll build rapid fire cannon and won't do damage. And then he'll miss traps, which are that lose them the fight. Like his Caitlyn mechanics are bad.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it. They're just bad.
Not to mention that against the TSM, like in the TSM game, he literally had the dream of taking bot turret at like, I can't even remember, it was a ridiculously low time, like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and then he was already taking top turret, and it was like, I can't believe, like, this is Caitlyn's dream, right? Like, just to be able to snowball like this, and eventually he was not able to do anything. And I don't know, it just, and I'll transition to the Team Liquid C9 game, because he picked Caitlyn on both of these, and I don't know if that was a team decision, or if that was like his decision saying, hey, look, we can get an early lead and snowball. But in both of those games, it seemed like, yes, he won lane pretty hard, but then, you know, eventually the other ADCs were able to just have their pop-off moments where Caitlyn was kind of useless. And maybe we could point to build, maybe we could point to other things, but I just don't know about the pick, you know, against these two teams. Maybe, and why try it against them? I don't know. It just is a little odd to me. But yeah, that Team Liquid game was one that was really close. It was like a game of inches, I think, you know, was said that it was a good game.
Yeah, it's a massive top gap, but yeah, I don't know. If we're talking about, do you want to talk about that Team Liquid C9 game? Because that was a weird one as well. That was
Yeah.
a very confusing one where like it felt like Team Liquid was like kind of just in the driver's seat, and then people would just get caught out on the side of Team Liquid. Alfari would TP in, Santorin would get hooked and immediately die because he has no Merc Treads or Tenacity.
Yeah.
And then Santorin would flash into the wall, or not Santorin, Alfari would flash into the wall, and I was like, what is this game, man? I don't like it. And I don't know, like, you know who we haven't talked about yet, and we should talk about, is Perks. What the heck is Perks doing, man? That guy is cashing out. He is so checked out. in both games against TSM and like Team Liquid, it felt like he just like didn't care. He's just TPing in the most aggressive spots and dying instantly, or just like in a side lane and just going for like YOLO 1v1s and then just getting caught out and dying.
For fun region, man. For fun region.
Yeah. I'm getting tilted talking about it.
He's
Someone else
living his
go.
life, living his best life.
I think that Perks is not shown. He's basically disappeared in matches. We had on the Victor match against TSM, we were just like, oh, Perks is on Victor. We just didn't notice, even though he had like 4 deaths at that point, because it's just nonsense. The level of play he's exhibiting is just like very low. There are a few plays he does well, but for the most part, I just don't think he's even playing to like his G2 regular season meme level of play. Real quick on that TLC9 game, I think there were a lot of misplays, but I think the overall level of that game was probably unironically one of the highest levels of games we had the whole split. Like, I thought it was an entertaining game.
Yeah,
the early game was a clown show, but like they really did test each other and limit test each other over and over.
Mm-hmm.
One big flaw is they counterpicked. They saved last pick or counterpick for Fudge to counterpick Gnar, and they just gave him GP, and he did nothing. He consistently is one of the worst top laners with resources invested in their team, and it's like people were arguing that like, sure, he has number 1 KDA. You can't be number 1 KDA if you're bad. I'm like, he's not the worst player in the league. He's not the best. He's probably upper middle or middle. It's just he continues to be a glaring flaw. And as we talked about earlier, if we go to Worlds, that's going to be really scary. Or if we go to MSI with C9, it'd be really scary for C9.
Yeah, because you can even see the top gap in these games. Like the one particular point I remember, and yes, Alfari had those 2 weird TPs. I don't want to blame it on him
Flash
completely,
into the wall.
But yeah, the missed flash. But as I think it was Captain Flowers was saying, like he made a play towards the end where he literally soloed Fudge bot lane, recalled, TP'd towards the Baron fight, and then killed Sven. And Captain Flowers like, I don't even care what happened early on. It's like that just made up. He was literally just playing like out of his mind.
He soloed Perks too to win the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And
under turret.
The fact is that
under zero turret. Yeah.
If Fudge can get top gap that hard by not just Alfari, but Huni top gapped them. Honestly, Huni was a big reason why TSM was still in that game, because he was just out laning him so hard. Like, how do they expect them to do internationally, like in MSI? So that is a big concern for C9. And one thing that I said about C9 is they're beating all the teams except the ones that I feel matter, which is TSM and Team Liquid. Those are the teams that people expect to compete, and when it's all said and done, those are the top teams, and they haven't shown to be able to beat any of them. And
C9 also lost to EG too. Like C9 is losing to the top teams. Like the only top team they're like actually beating is like maybe 100 Thieves, but they're falling off hard.
Yeah.
And Dig. Yeah.
Speaking of Dig, let's talk about them a little bit, because there was a point where I was still on the fence about Dig, but they're good. And I one thing I've noticed is here's what I've noticed about them, right? It's very rare, and I think why it was hard for me is because I never really saw them get like just big leads early on, snowball those leads, carry on from there. What I see from them is they're usually even, maybe slightly behind, maybe slightly ahead, but not really in control of the game. But when it comes to like objective fights in the mid and late game, man, they are clutch. They are freaking clutch. They're team fighting with Alistar, not our Alistar.
I would like to point out the pun you made.
Yeah, I did.
Clutch.
They're clutch. Clutch gaming. Hello.
Look at that. There's layers.
I said Alistar because Afromoose tends to be on Alistar, but he plays a lot of other champions. But his engages and just the team fighting with Neo popping off, it just seems to be really, really good. And in the clutch, they can pull out those team fights. And to me, that's where I think I think they do that the best. Honestly, when it matters, like their team fights are awesome. So I mean, what do you guys think? Dignitas is great.
Dignitas is the best team in North America ever, no matter what. Okay, I'm a little extreme here, but taking it back a bit, I mean, I think they're really good. I'm so surprised they won that TSM game. They were down 8K. Luckily, they had a bunch of dragons, but they should not have won that game.
They should not have. Yeah.
They should not have won that game. And you know what? That was the LPL coin flip. TSM was up a bunch of gold, but they were down to some drags. At the drag fight, they just decided to snap engage, and Dignitas just outplayed them. I think like 3 team fights in a row, and then the game was just over. That was it. 8K ahead, lose 3 team fights, game over.
Dardoch literally baited them twice with his Zanyas. Like, I feel like, did they not check his items? They, like, went hard on him every time, and, like, he just Zanyas. And then he's like, oh my god. Outplayed, man.
If they were allowed to, he definitely was using all chat there. He's like, yeah, dude, no one wants me, huh? As he's playing.
I just want to say, Dardoch built Shurelias on Gragas.
Yeah, man, right there. You don't
care. He's so crazy, man. The guy's psychopath.
He don't care.
Who actually cares, man? He doesn't care, dude. He's literally working minimum wage at McDonald's building Shurelias on a budget. Like, he does not give an F. This team is so hilarious. Plus, like, Fake God and Neo, they're both really, really good. I hate the Callista. I think Callista is so bad right now, and the team comps they're playing Callista into seem so terrible. Like, he's playing Callista into, like, Victor, Alistair, Hecarim, Shen. There's another game he played Callista into, like, Orianna. He, like, first rotationed it against, I think it was Evil Geniuses. And it's like, Callista's just so bad here. Stop playing it. And it doesn't matter. I don't know, man. Their draft is
too good.
Neo's too good.
He's
like,
too good.
The pick is like I actually VOD reviewed it with one of my this team I'm sort of coaching and we looked at the Callista because we're thinking of playing Callista and we came to the consensus even though he was like 14-2 that the Callista did absolutely nothing that game. Any other ADC could have done that or better. I don't know, man. Dignitas doesn't care. They're on that McDonald's budget.
He played Callista on Friday's game. I forget against who, but it did not work out well at all. And then
they won, but it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
It was against TSM. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That game. But when they played it, who was it against? That was
Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses. He popped off on that. I think he had a triple and a quadra. So. Yeah, I don't know if the pick is bad or like if he did get like you could see the flaws because there were a couple of fights where he would just get CC'd and like not be able to move ever.
No, I'm telling you the pick is bad, League Dad. The pick is bad.
I have no clue, so I agree.
I don't think Callista's that good for 2 reasons. One, she just gets outscaled, and especially if you're not playing strong side bot, Callista's not that great. And second of all, she's just too hard, man. She's too hard to play.
Yeah, she's very difficult.
She's too hard. It's like a Felios. There's not much point.
And I will say, the player of the week was Fake God. He played amazing. I honestly think it should have gone to Neo. I mean, the dude had a penta and then a quadra and a triple, and he was just.
He dropped 40 kills.
Yeah, 40 kills. The guy was insane. But either way, in conclusion, Dignitas is a team to be reckoned with. I think they are a good team, and I do say like. You can't count them out. Like,
no.
Just like how TSM showed resolve against C9, Dignitas has that same kind of mentality. Maybe it's their veterans, and it's just their team fighting. Like, I think it's just really good. So, real quickly before we move on, I just wanted to sneak this in there because Kevin's here. But CLG beat Team Liquid.
Hey, he's wearing
for the surprise. I told you I would bring this shirt on, and I think I was gonna have to just hang it up. But then the last game happened. So if you're not watching on YouTube, which you definitely should, but if you're just listening on the podcast, I'm wearing like a little squiggly meme face Team Liquid shirt. It's the Team Liquid logo, but he's just got the derpiest smile ever. And this is just how I feel I went into this game. I wrote it before and I was in the live chat. I was just like, yeah, this is the game I'm most worried about this week. Like I knew we were gonna beat C9, but this one, I have no clue what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and CLG ended up picking the pick that they got smashed on, Lucian mid. They picked Gale Forces, and then they just started destroying Liquid. Tactical looks like a liability. He looks like a liability in games where they're losing, and in games where they're winning, he's good. He's still good, but like he's almost always the reason they lose. Like actually, Jensen has an 80% laning phase CS lead at 15. That's pretty insane. Yeah. Like he doesn't look amazing in team fights, but he's at least doing what he needs for Prio. Tactical really needs to step it up in playoffs because, like, I think Liquid pretty much doesn't lose most of their games if Tactical doesn't get caught. That's really weird to say, knowing how he played last split.
That's true. It's a big
discrepancy. My boys are memers. They're going to be the scariest 4th seed any 1st seed is going to get. Like, if there's some weird games next week, some people are actually trying to lose on purpose. If C9 just loses 0-3 and to avoid Liquid,
That'd be so funny.
I didn't leak the script publicly. That wasn't. I didn't write this.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I'm
Okay,
predicting.
man. Okay, we
Yeah.
know. I'm actually. Ooh, we should predict an 0-3. That'd be funny. But like, for all seriousness, though, like, tactical and dying by himself has actually become just
A
a
trend.
trend
Yeah.
for all of the regular season. Like, you go back to the beginning and you kind of saw it here and there, and you're like, okay, whatever. They're flexing, right? He's on Samira. Corey J's just ulting in on Senna TK. All right, they're flexing. Okay, you're gonna bring it back, right? You guys are gonna bring it back. No, you're not bringing it back. You're actually dying on Tristana in the same way over and over again. You're walking up to tower. You get caught and you die twice in one game. You walk up to Raptors, you get caught and die again. You walk up to Tower, you get caught and die. Like, it's just the
Again.
same
Yeah.
thing over and over.
Yeah.
And it's really worrying. I don't like it. I really don't like it.
Definitely. There's something. I mean, it's like you said. It wasn't just a fluke thing. It's been happening. I will say that it's odd that CLG. This is the game that they did not get first blood. They're already out of playoffs, and for some reason they beat Team Liquid. So maybe
And
all
they
the
look
pressure,
so clean, man.
I know, like what the heck? So they just needed to not get first blood and not have that pressure of having to win every game for playoffs. And now they're starting to play it well. But either
I
way,
found the secret to winning at Worlds and being the best team is you just send CLG and tell them they're already eliminated. There it is.
And
you win
NA
Worlds.
only performs when they're eliminated.
Yeah,
That's
don't
so
give-
true.
It's true. Oh my gosh. Bringing
FlyQuest
back
when they beat
Worlds.
Top Esports last year,
Oh,
yeah,
God.
same
Oh,
thing.
God.
They were already eliminated.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to patch notes, right? So 11.5 is live in our servers, but it will be going live in competitive. Thoughts on 11.5 and how it affects the LCS?
Quickly, I don't think a lot of big changes are happening. Most of them are just small tweaks. I think it's going to be really big as a change, but you won't see on stage as Serpent's Fang is getting a huge buff. It's basically going to become Shield Grievous Wounds, which means if you didn't think you would see Set that much recently, you're never going to see him again. Like, I don't think like this buff to this item, even if it's not picked, literally invalidates certain picks from being picked in a lot of scenarios on a pro level. So I think that's the biggest change in my mind, but if you guys have different ideas, feel free to let the
I
audience
think
know.
you're right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I will say the only thing I disagree with you on that, Kevin, is the fact that there aren't many champions that are able to comfortably build Serpent Fang right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the AD carries, well, pretty much no AD carry builds lethality with the exception of Collector. And even that's starting to see a bit of a downtrend with LDR buffs. So I mean, we honestly don't really see that many shields anyways right now, aside from like Seraphine. But I think once we get maybe lethality Varus, I'll agree. But I think like it doesn't really fit right now.
Yeah, I can see that. Other things I'll talk about in the patch that I think are notable are a lot of jungle changes. So specifically, more solo QE, but you can play him competitively, in my opinion, before, was Rammus. Rammus lost 15 HP per level, which is at level 18 about a ruby crystal and a half. So that's about 600 gold-ish worth of stats at level 18. Rammus got annihilated. That's sad. Udyr lost about a ruby crystal of HP at level 18 and some damage. I'm not actually sure if he'll be pick ban next patch, which is massive.
That is
That's
big.
a big pick. I've been playing an amateur. I've been watching Alistair play an amateur on XLNC where we're broadcasted, and Udyr was following through the draft pretty significantly. People were not first picking him. People weren't even banning him. He was just going right through. That's going to be a big change to competitive if that keeps going. So look out for that. There are champs like Sejuani Trundle that are getting buffed. So jungle is going to change again.
See some changes.
We will see Sejuani.
Yeah, we'll probably see
calling
Sejuani. Yeah.
We always see Sejuani in there.
All right, Alistair said it here. He called the jinx. Will he be 2 for 2 calling the Sejuani here? We'll have to see.
I think we'll see a little bit more Udyr, but because he's been perma-banned, basically. He got through once last week. That I think he'll now reach the tier where he's picked if your player likes to play that character and it fits the comp. He's not a blind pick. He's probably not as high priority, but he's just going to get through bans now instead of being... He's like He has 63 bans this season. We don't have that many games this season, so.
Thanks.
Yeah, but I agree. Those nerfs are huge. Why did they do my boy? Who sees Rammus? When's the last time you saw a Rammus in the jungle?
I know, right?
I actually don't know how that happened. I saw that nerf and I play Rammus, so I got mad.
Rammus was busted though. I was abusing
He is
the
busted.
crap out
I
of
agree,
him.
but he's super rare as a pick, but he is busted. I agree. I'm annoyed that they found my like pocket pick and just hit it. I'm like, why?
I'm Kevin, and my pocket pick is Rammus. The last thing I do want to mention about patch notes is we may see Kog'Maw.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
1%. It doesn't sound like much, but 1% extra on his W is a big deal, especially if you're building Rageblade. It's going to apply that twice. I already thought he was like not terrible. I think he's good now.
Okay.
Alistair, that's a weird way to say Jinx.
I didn't know Kog'Maw. Jinx got her name changed to Kog'Maw. Okay, well.
Okay.
Well, if you guys got any thoughts on the patch and how it might affect the meta, definitely let us know. Tweet us, hit us up on Discord. But it is now time for predictions, and we do have a winner from last week who correctly predicted the most games, and that person wins a $10 RP card. So, Alistair, take it away. Give us the honors. Who's the winner of this week's predictions?
The winner is Lotus White's 80 carry, Crisp 10.
Wow,
Hey,
crispy
crispy
so
tenders. Congratulations.
I'll be in touch with you on Discord, and we will get that $10 RP card, so you can buy whatever it is you want on the game. So be sure to submit your predictions. We're going to do this again, right? I want to make this a kind of a running thing, get some competition going in the Discord. So we'll have another form out for this week. Remember, you have to have them in before the games start or it won't count. But we'll have a Google form. You can fill it out, who you think's going to win this upcoming week. And it is the last week before playoffs, so it definitely is getting spicy now when it comes to the games. So now it's time for us, guys. You know, I had to post it. I did come out the winner for last week's predictions among us. I did get 10 correctly. Thank you very much. Mitchell, Kevin, you got 9 right. Alistair, you got 8, and the coin got 6. So some notable things here. Mitchell, you predicted Dig to beat TSM.
Let's go!
You predicted EG to beat 100 Thieves.
Uh-huh.
I predicted CLG to beat Immortals. Hello.
What?
That's right.
Wait.
Me and Kevin both predicted TL to beat C9. Alistair, you predicted Immortals to beat EG, so good for you. Mitchell and Kevin, you predicted FlyQuest to beat CLG. I predicted TSM over C9. Let's go. And then I think that was the only other crazy one. So yeah. Pretty interesting, but now
CLG Team Liquid. I mean, we all got that one wrong.
Oh, we all
what
got
the
that one
actual
wrong.
hell, man?
Yeah, nobody got a point. Nobody snuck in a point there. No,
I think Mitch got Dig TSM, right? Mitchell was the
you know
Dig
who did
supporter.
get that one
He
right?
did.
Oh, okay.
Who?
Chris.
The coin.
Oh, he did.
Chris
Chris
did?
got it? Oh
Chris
my.
got that one right.
Oh,
He put CLG over Team Liquid.
Oh my
That's
God.
He's
insanity.
cheating. He's cheating like he's cheating in Jeopardy. I don't care. I'm calling him out on it.
Insider trading.
That's cheating, bro. I don't. I'm gonna talk to
I
him
didn't
later.
know you could edit your answers after you submitted them. I didn't know that was a thing. All right, I'll have to check it out. All right, let's move on to this week's games. First up, C9 versus CLG. You know I got C9. I love CLG, but they ain't winning against C9.
C9. Get me out. Go next.
And the team is not TL or TSM, so C9 should win this.
Okay, but C9 could
C9.
throw just to not play Team Liquid, so we gotta think about that. But yeah.
It could be a crazy week for our predictions.
I'm
but
assuming
predicting
people are
C9.
playing to win here, so
Yeah.
okay.
All right, you know what?
Yep.
I had it written down as CLG. I'm going CLG.
What?
Oh
I'm voting
my
CLG.
Gosh.
All right.
They're
He's
gonna
playing
pick
Yumi,
Garen
guys.
again, and they're gonna lose.
He's playing
I can't
Yumi,
wait
guys.
to he's already. I think if he gets everything right this week, he still loses.
Okay, so he's playing Yumi. YOLO.
Okay, bro.
Yumi. Okay. What's the coin say?
Coin is CLG as well.
Oh,
Okay, so
I
for those of you
see.
watching, if you don't see Alistair flipping, it's because he pre-flipped before the show started.
No,
That
don't
way-
tell them
Oh,
that.
am I not
You lose
supposed
the
to tell him? Oh,
magic.
shoot, my bad. I'm sorry. to all
Edit
you
it out,
guys.
man. Edit it out.
Edit
all
that
the
out.
early viewers get the
I'm sorry.
insider info.
Nobody heard
but
me say that. Nobody heard me say that.
No one heard you say it.
Yeah.
He
forget
just
what
flipped
I
it
said.
in the
record.
darkness,
Yes,
in the void.
exactly. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't see anyways. Alistair's screen's all black, so whatever.
Exactly. He
All right,
flipped it.
EG, EG versus TSM. I mean, you guys know my
TSM.
vote. TSM. Let's go.
EG
TSM.
sucks, man. I predicted EG to
TSM,
lose
TSM.
all their games.
Yeah, I'm gonna go TSM.
TSM.
And the coin
TSM.
is. The coin is as he's flipping it.
Is the coin? Where is it?
Coin put TSM.
100 Thieves versus Immortals. I actually
I'm
have
going Immortals.
Yeah,
I'm
there
going
you go.
Immortals. And so
Hey, 100 Thieves sucks butt.
You're going 100 Thieves, Alistair?
I'm going.
no.
Coach,
I said IMT.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I'm
so
going
is the
Coach
coin.
6. I'm gonna go 100 Thieves on the last week.
Hey, Kevin's trying to make a push to win. I
Yeah,
see you.
You know
Yes,
what?
sir.
Ziggs inted me in
Time to get
solo
the-
queue, so that's all
I'm
I have
really
to say
off the
about that.
100,
Lol.
100 Thieves train right now, man. I just think they're.
Should have been last week too.
I
Yep.
was. I didn't have them winning
That's fair.
any games.
Oh,
no, I
okay,
did.
good.
But they did beat
Uh-huh.
Golden
Shooting
Guardians.
my
I
shot
had them
here. If
beating
I need 2 points to catch up.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, I had them beating Golden Guardians, so. I mean,
That's fine.
Awesome.
That's okay.
All right, what's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
coin say?
It's a freebie.
Coin is also IMT.
Let's go, Immortals.
All right, Team Liquid versus
Revenge.
Dignitas.
You know, I gotta go with my boys. It's Dignitas. It's McDonald's time, baby. Give me the Big Mac. Throw him down.
This is
Get out of here,
spicy.
Kevin.
This is
Y'all are
spicy.
crazy. Did you not see that? Have we been watching the same matchups? Like, they got wrecked last time, right? I'm pretty sure Liquid's gonna win again.
This is-
CLG beat Team Liquid. They are tilted into infinity. It's
I
over.
don't care if CLGB team look good. It's just like when you lose to like randos when you're not trying, you're playing norms. Literally, TL destroyed C9, and that's all I care about.
Kevin, I'm taking you out to McDonald's when quarantine's over, baby.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Fair
Let's
enough.
get a big map. Let's get a big map.
We'll get a Dig jersey in. If Dig wins this, we'll get a Dig jersey in.
Bro, buy
Yeah.
a Big Mac and Shirelias.
Shirelias, let's go.
Oh my
I'll get a
God.
smoothie too, man. One of those Oreo shakes. Those are good.
All right, well, I'm
have
Team Liquid. Kevin's Team Liquid. Alistair,
Yeah,
what are you
okay.
in the coin
League
doing?
Dad's not memeing in the
I'm
prediction.
not
That's
naming.
good.
I'm playing to win, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go TL, and the coin is Dig.
What?
I thought you were saying Dig at the beginning of
I was saying Dig, and then I changed my mind.
Oh my god. It's
Alright.
fine. I'll be the
Alright.
only one to predict Dig again, and I'll win again, guys. It's okay.
Okay.
It's cool.
Liquid won last time. What do you mean again? They lost.
Dignitas beat TSM, AK down, baby. I feel comfortable. I feel warm.
So I
I
would
feel
just say this:
cozy.
TL has the
Hold
best,
me, Aframu.
TL has one of the best early games, and obviously Dig doesn't really play well in the early game. But TL has been showing some sketchy play mid to late game, especially tactical. So I don't
Tactical inting.
know. Dignitas could pop off there. So
Yeah,
I am
Miguel's
a
playing
little
well.
conflicted, but I still think TL. I'm still
I
going
am
TL.
too.
But
I'm still not confident in my
Yeah.
answer.
This is a
Yeah.
good game.
This
It's
is
gonna
a
be a
good
great game.
be one to watch. All right.
There will be watch party for this game.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
So
that's
tune
for
in
sure.
on the Discord. All right.
Dignitas is gonna go down 30,000 gold and still win. Call it in now. I'm just kidding. I just told you
Would
ridiculous.
be insane. All right. Golden Guardians versus FlyQuest. I got FlyQuest.
Yeah,
I
really
literally don't think any team will lose to Golden Guardians.
Yeah, I believe in Palace Faker.
100 Thieves did.
FlyQuest is looking good.
Yeah, I'm saying FlyQuest.
FlyQuest will win, yeah.
Jose Dioto alone. All right, what's the coin?
The coin is Golden Guardians.
Okay.
Idiot. Okay, TSM versus Immortals. Duh, TSM. Come on. You guys are with me. Hello.
But
Come on.
didn't Crit say TSM plays to their level? I'm
True.
gonna go.
True.
Immortals
Is that
will lose.
Okay, how was
There
that?
it
You didn't
is.
get me that time.
Yeah.
Not today, buddy.
Mitchell, it's not gonna work after I did it to him last week.
Yo,
Hey,
Alistair got me so good.
that was the
smell,
ender right
smell
there.
my farts, bro. Smell my farts.
I was
Dignitas
not
every
too.
day. All right,
Yes.
TSM.
Yes,
I think
Yeah,
we're
I'm
all
going
TSM.
All right, what's the
And
coin
the
saying?
coin is TSM?
Yeah, coin's also TSM.
Okay. All right. Oh, now this is a good one. So this is a real test for Dignitas because first day they play Team Liquid, and the second day they're playing C9. So Dignitas against C9. This is a tough week for Dignitas.
This is last week. I wouldn't want it any other way. To have the last week highlight as Dignitas as the best team, they get to take down all the good teams,
that
right?
would be insane.
Because it's their weekend. This is the McDonald's weekend. They're taking Cloud9 to Burger King this time, and they're saying you're not good enough for McDonald's. You're not. You get Burger King, bro.
And you're right about that.
Yikes.
Burger King is worse than McDonald's.
straight up, man.
I
so
agree with you.
I'm going Dignitas win every day of the week.
All right. Well, I'm not agreeing with that. I'm going C9, but I do agree Burger King is worse. So I got C9.
You know what? I'm going Dig.
Oh,
let's go!
Oh, man. Y'all are so, I don't know what y'all are smoking, man. What is this, Kevin? What are you?
I'm smoking some McDonald's fries,
I
some barbecue
put
sauce.
So I put down C9, but hearing all this, I'm feeling a little contested. But I'm going C9 still.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All
right.
Dig's matchup into C9 looked really rough. Like, it just looked like Blabber had Dardock's number that game, and I was like, oh, I don't ever want to see this again.
Wow.
So
Coin's also
I
Dig.
mean, Neo's better than Sven, so we'll give him that.
Well, it's because
Thank God
Dardock
he's much
has a
better
flip
than
phone.
Fudge.
You know, he has a flip phone from his minimum wage job.
Let's be honest. I think we can be honest here. EG, all of them have flip phones. They
Yeah.
will
There's
flip
a lot of flip
anything.
phones.
A burger,
Yeah.
a mortgage, a phone.
Mortgage.
They'll flip
Yikes.
anything, bro.
Yeah, they'll flip it all. Okay.
They're trying to get their NA residency with all the flipping they're doing.
Yeah.
Flipping
All right.
burgers. Let's
FlyQuest
go.
versus 100 Thieves. I got FlyQuest because I am off of that 100 Thieves.
Wow, you actually have Fly. This is
That's
a
right.
tough one for me. I think FlyQuest still kind of sucks, but
Yeah.
100 Thieves is sucking. I think I'm gonna go FlyQuest as well.
Going FlyQuest, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna go
I can't
FlyQuest
wait to
as
catch
well.
up this week. 100 Thieves.
Okay.
I'm going
It's
FlyQuest
gonna be
as well,
great.
just
Someone
because of mid gap. It's mid
Kevin
gap.
is
Yeah.
on this 100 Thieves train.
Hey,
man.
if I'm
Hello,
only 2
faker.
points away from the top predictions, all I have to do is predict differently in 3 or 4 places and win, right? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if I get second place. We're looking for first here.
True.
First to nothing. First or last.
Yep.
Yeah.
First,
I agree.
first to last are the scary parts, and
So
neither
you're
is
saying-
happening.
So you're saying I should just pick everything Kevin picks so he can't win. So technically,
that's
that's
what you would
true.
force me not to win, but
Yeah,
Alistar might not be
But
last.
then
to me.
I could win.
Actually, no,
like
that's
that.
impossible.
that's true. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care. I
But
can
Mitchell
win.
could win.
No.
See?
I'm
What
playing
happens
away.
if Mitchell wins? We haven't actually set. We'll talk about it in the next podcast.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about it
we'll
later.
talk about it
I
later.
imagine everyone will have to bow down to the king for the 4th time in a row or whatever.
That's
how many
all I
times
want to
won.
play for. I just want to knock Mitchell off his throne. I don't need a prize. I just want to knock him off of his throne. That's all I care about. It's about the pride, baby. Okay, Alistair, what did the coin say here? Is it FlyQuest or 100 Thieves?
Coin said FlyQuest. Or sorry,
Let's
no,
go.
it said GGS.
Oh,
bad.
you debated us. bro.
Wait, what? FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves?
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong game.
Oh my, you might as well flip the coin live.
FlyQuest
Goodness.
versus 100 Thieves. FlyQest.
It's fine. It's
All
fine.
right, there we go.
FlyQuest.
EG
All
versus
right.
TL. I'm going
TL.
Come
Get
on,
me
TL.
out.
EG.
EG's
EG's so
trash.
scary.
All right, what's the
So
coin
scared
say?
to watch him.
The coin is TL.
All right, CLG versus GG. I got CLG, baby. I don't think anybody's
CLG. All day.
CLG.
anybody's
CLG.
losing to Golden
CLG.
Guardians.
Sorry, GG.
I mean, it'd be very counter logic to actually like win all their games and then lose to Golden Guardians. So,
I know.
so
Okay.
expect
Yeah.
What's the coin say?
The coin is Golden Guardians.
All right, last day. FlyQuest versus Dignitas. You know I got my boys Dig.
It's Dignitas, man.
Yeah,
FlyQuest is the
Dignitas.
old team. Dignitas is the new team. Like it's like battle of olds, like underdogs, battle of new underdogs. The
It was
old
like
underdogs.
FlyQuest was the sweetheart team because they had the whole tree quest thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're still cool and all, but NA, you know, with the whole import thing, Dignitas has become LCS sweetheart.
Shouldn't
man.
have sold Wild Turtle. That's all I'm gonna say. You got rid of
Yeah.
Wild Turtle. You lost all my fanship. So,
True that.
yeah.
All right,
It's Dignitas.
Alistair, Kevin,
I
Dignitas.
mean, I'm Dig.
what's the coin,
Coin.
say?
It's pretty
Coin's
easy.
also Dig.
Okay.
Even the
Golden Guardians TSM. Come on, TSM. All day.
Golden Guardians.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna lose.
TSM.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
try TSM.
Yeah,
Let's
it's-
add the
it's
clause that
TSM.
whatever team you say first is what you lock in.
I know. No take backsies.
No take backsies.
Alright,
Exactly.
the coin is Golden Guardians.
Hey, I believe in the coin. I want
All
to
right,
see it.
Kevin, you
Just so I
were-
can meme TSM
You're
one more
hype
time.
on 100 Thieves, Kevin, but are you hype against 100 Thieves against
No.
TL?
No.
He said no.
You crazy?
All right, I was just seeing how.
I don't care what iteration of Liquid is. I'm gonna support them. You know, I just support
Hey,
my
I
team.
respect that,
That's
man.
how.
What if, yeah, Piglet, Phoenix come back? You're gonna support that
I
too?
did. I supported that team. I supported the Golden Goose Star. I was like, hey, maybe it'll work out. It didn't work. I supported the Rain Overstar. I've been here since the curse days. It has been a rough road.
10th place, relegations.
Yeah. Yes, I
Double
was
lift
there. And
saved
I'm
me.
still here. You know, FlyQuest trades one player, and you're like, I'm a Dignitas. I follow my team to the death, just like League Dad.
Nah,
even
dude,
if
it's
too
NA.
Respect it. I respect
Even
it.
though
Shut up,
TSM
dude.
is really painful to follow.
I cut him
Like,
off. I
Liquid
throw
is
him out
hard.
the back door. Get out of my house.
That's capitalism right there.
Oh, boy.
That's market.
It's
That's
McDonald's, baby.
McDonald's.
Burgers, you're fired.
I'm pretty sure we're all voting Liquid here.
Yeah, I'm voting Liquid.
What's the coin
All the
say?
memes
The
aside.
coin's Golden Guardians.
Okay.
I
all right.
mean, 100 Thieves.
Sorry.
is Team Liquid.
Liquid.
Again,
Liquid.
wrong game. It's also Liquid.
You got
Also,
some
I'm like,
affinity.
the coin's
It's harder
Golden
when it's
Guardians.
on like this, okay, man?
Okay, you should just flip the coin.
Just
next
move
time,
your
buddy.
cursor or
Maybe next
something.
time you should just flip that.
Flip the
I'm tab, okay? You know what? I'm slow, alright? I'm an 80 carry man. I'm not very
sorry,
smart.
Alistair. It's just make it. You're just setting it up for us, man. Okay.
I am.
CLG versus EG. I got EG.
Burgers better? Okay.
EG.
I got EG.
I'm going CLG.
You know what? You got me. I'm going CLG too. Screw it.
What?
I'm
easy.
Really?
CLG.
I don't think
God.
it's out of the norm because EG is a coin flip team, but I'm just banking that this is a good coin flip for them because
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weighted coin at least.
The
It's
coin's also
45.
CLG.
I'm going CLG. I don't know. I
Me and
shouldn't.
Lead that EG.
I might have
Alright,
just
Lead
thrown
Dad.
my first place potential
Maybe.
here. I might have just thrown it out
Maybe.
the window, but I'm going
Woo.
CLG.
Alright.
Screw
I mean,
it.
I voted Liquid when they were bad in previous splits, so that was me throwing out my predictions. That's just how it is. What's the last game? Oh,
IMT versus C9.
IMT
Yep.
versus C9.
C9.
So, some history here.
Uh-oh.
C9 may want to throw just to not play Team Liquid in playoffs.
this is the game they would have to throw
Oh
in.
man,
Because they
would
would know
You're
exactly.
right.
But I
But
don't know. I
Will
think it's
they?
C9. If they're playing to win,
Are
if
we
see
believing
some
in
tactical
integrity
weakness-
here? Does C9
Yeah.
have integrity?
Not on Twitter, but competitively they've never thrown a
Xenophobia.
game when it didn't matter. Like there was that one game Liquid could have made playoffs and C9 just like went hardcore for no reason except for being competitive, and that's
Yeah.
totally fine.
And
So
very clearly, Blabber is xenophobic towards deers because he was committing seppuku over and over again, killing the deer. I don't know. I'm a little conflicted.
He's so bad on
I'm
Lilia.
gonna-
That
He's
one
so
game
bad
at
on
least.
Lilia.
I'm voting, or I'm predicting based on that. I think they're actually going to try to win. So I have C9 here.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
go
have
C9
C9
as well.
Okay, just making sure. I was like,
Yeah.
but they're still
So
probably.
what's the coin say?
The coin is C9.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Golden
It's kind of
Guardians.
mainstream today.
Well,
the most part.
I mean, so me and Kevin, I think we both have TSM, Team Liquid going 3-0. Mitchell, you have Dignitas going 3-0.
As per usual, as they do. They did it
Yeah.
last week. They'll do it again this week.
Alistair also has TSM and TL going 3-0. I think me and Kevin also have C9 going 3-0. I don't know if I said that, but yeah. So I mean, it's the
I think so.
last regular season week, and then we got playoffs, so it's going to be exciting. Guys, you have any final quick thoughts before we wrap up this awesome episode? Good to go. I think we covered a lot.
Can't wait for playoffs.
I can't wait for playoffs, guys. Don't forget, join the Discord, join the parties. We're trying to have a lot of events for you guys because we really do. It's fun to have these watch parties, to discuss League, to have these RP giveaways. Come on, who doesn't want $10 RP giveaway?
I do.
cards? So join the Discord. It's the allinpodcast.info. You'll find the Discord link right there. But if you have any questions, feel free to email us at questions@theallinpodcast, or you could tweet us at theallinpodcast. Thank you again, Alistair, Kevin, Mitchell, for just a great episode. Fun talking with you guys. But until next time, enjoy your climb on the Rift. Try not to be too toxic, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace!